Hey everybody, hope everybody is having a great day. We'll go ahead and get started here pretty soon. How are you, Gamer King? Yep, get to make another one. Dickie, how are you doing? There's a lot this week. there's a good amount of stuff that's pretty good. And obviously we won't cover all of it, so just I recommend after we're done taking a quick browse of the 14 or so pages that are there. If at any point my dogs go nuts, that's because someone came home. I cannot stop that. But yes, let's go ahead and where the heck is the computer cam, right? There we go. We still need to fix this lighting. Alrighty. Can we turn this light on? I thought this worked now.
It does, but it doesn't make much of a difference.
Whatever.
The issue is you're so close to the monitor, it has a dramatic impact on the light.
It just seems kind
I
of
don't really know how to fix
yellowish.
it.
So, alrighty. Anyways, yeah, there's a whole bunch. I actually missed one of them I wanted to show off. There was a there's literally just a DG climb. And it was not all that much, all things considered. Maybe about 700-800 when I last saw it. But the fact that it ended already tells me that that it was right now is a good buyer's time. Not a lot of people on. So yeah, definitely check it out. Hi, Scaled Worm. How are you, Sarah? How are you today?
Can you drop the cam for a second?
Sure.
I think a setting got flipped off that wasn't supposed to.
What do I do? Computer no cam?
Yeah. Let me see.
But yeah, there's a good amount. Like I mentioned, there's a whole bunch of great stuff here. Whether you're into clown or not, quite frankly, clown obviously dominates it every single week. We all know that if you're into ball pythons.
Shoot.
But there's, as you can see, the first two aren't clown. They're both great.
I'm gonna stop and start the stream real quick because for some reason we got downgraded to 300p. I don't
know what that is.
The quality's bad. I don't know why it did that, so I'm gonna stop stream for a split second. We'll be right back. While it just only took a couple seconds.
Yeah, just stay. If you stay put, I think it puts you back in.
Yeah.
Right. So,
yeah, it should.
It'll just be a second. Okay, I think we're good. I don't know if the quality is great yet, but whatever. I don't handle any of that stuff. That's him. Let's see here.
Yeah, it's much better now.
Okay, Brian, I am bidding on a VPI Xanthic het clown male. That is awesome. The only way to make that any more better would be to get a DG in the mix eventually. But that is they're great, wonderful. All right, let me put the camera back on. Okay, awesome. All right, cool. Now, no barring any more technical things, I think we're good to go here. Starting off with this very first one here, which ends in about 20 minutes. Must be logged in. Oh, it's doing that thing again, dude.
Yeah, I don't know what's caused
it. Doesn't matter. It still shows, so it's no big deal. If anything, it'll keep me from being tempted to do anything. Alright, so the first one here is a pastel double het ultramel puzzle. And it's a girl. It's a girl at that, and it ends in 20 minutes. That's pretty good if you wanted to work the ultramel puzzle project. Having a female that's double het is not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. Especially at this price. You could get a ultramel het puzzle or a puzzle het ultramel boy. And kind of go from there to try to hit that double. If you don't know what that looks like, well, guess what? I got you covered. That is what the Ultramel puzzle looks like. Pretty spiffy, if I do say so myself. It's the reason why a lot of us in the Monarch project are going for that. And in fact, excuse me, got hiccups there. The Monarch puzzles have been created, and they're amazing. So that's kind of why we're going that way. So if you want to do that, work on the Ultramel, this is a great addition to get for that. You can you can easily get this one and grow it out, I'm sure too. I don't think a weight is listed here, but you can grow her out and get a male eventually, maybe in a year or so, and their prices will probably have come down a little bit. If some people I know sometimes look at this and they say, well, I'd like it without pastel. No, you don't. Not when it comes to puzzle ultramels, or sorry, puzzle pastel works wonderfully. I'm gonna prove it to you right now as well. Should have had that picture gone or up and ready to go, but we're all right. I'm not in a time crunch for getting through these anyways. Puzzle pastel ball python. They almost always have this crazy head stamp to them too. It's almost like they've got like a bit of Anchi in them. Stuff is in the way here. If it looks like I'm looking around something, it's because I literally am. Is this thing? Oh no, never mind. There it goes. I know there was some on Morphmarket. So I don't know what the heck. Here, we'll grab this one here. This should be good from World of Bull Pythons. This is a super no. Yeah, it's a super pastel, but it'll do. You can see they look pretty darn cool. I actually prefer it with just one copy, I think, from what I'm seeing here. But you can see the head stamps there. Usually it's a little bit more pronounced. The super pastel is definitely fading its head there. With just one copy, it's much more pronounced, and you do have that bladed type head there. It's very nice. I gotta be able to find one without that. That doesn't even make sense why Google's not letting me find it. I think here's one. There we go. It's got yellow belly too, but that's okay. But you can kind of see here it definitely comes in a little bit better here. And I don't know what it is. A lot of stuff with pastel and or puzzle does this. It's very interesting. You can see it even messes with the eye stripes there. Really, really cool animal. So I definitely think that would be a great project to get in there. Like I said, pastel works great with it, and the Ultramel, again, getting something like that. Again, you can see that bladed head there. Pattern being wild, wonky, beautiful. Just absolutely amazing. And there's a lot more routes you could go there too. I mean, like I said, you get the male. You definitely want to kind of spice him up a little bit too. I don't think any of this would be incredibly expensive by any means. The ingredients anyways. Obviously if you do the method I mentioned where you get a puzzle het Ultramel or an Ultramel het puzzle, you are going head to head on one of the two of them, but you can test for both, so there is that. And you could send that into RGI and kind of go from there. Very cool stuff though. It's a great one to start with. And again, we got 15 minutes here. I'll probably pop back in here. There's a good amount of interest, but the bidding is low right now. So, no goodie, it will let me look at this. I have a feeling we are logged in, and it's just, for whatever reason, Morphmarket is not having a good time talking to this computer. I don't know.
Maybe not.
Yeah, you can see some interest here. A few repeat names. I mean, we don't know for sure. I guess there's multiple people could have that, but I doubt it. So, yeah, very cool. If you're into this or even slightly interested in this, this would be a great one to keep your eye on. So, Brian, I've got 2 double het DG VPI females and 2 double het DGI VP males. Obviously going for the VPI Desert Ghost Clown. Yep, there you go. You already knew it. You're already doing it. That's what I was mentioning earlier. Great, beautiful animal. I'll be honest, like I always wanted to like Xanthic, but I didn't, just because I felt like for a while anyways. This was when I first started, by the way. This is not how I feel now, but I always thought that they browned out too much. You know, and it was one of the first things you kind of learn is just like, yeah, maybe things don't look great in one combo, but when are we ever going for one thing? So you know, that is one of the most beautiful contrasted animals that is out there. It's so gorgeous. There's not much that can beat that. So very cool. Brian, may the odds be with you. Yes, I agree with Sarah. Hilltop Pythons, good evening. How are you? Macomorph, how are you doing? Love the plum color in that ultramel. Yep. Even though that's not up for bid. I think we are going to talk about an ultramel later. I don't know. But yeah, these are my kind of snakes. So, Macomorph, you did not miss anything. I think we started with this one. And yeah, so you got here just in time. So, kind of missed the beginning of it, but yeah, that's about it. Hey, Car, how are you today? Alrighty. Alright, so moving on to our next one, another female here, and you can see again on kind of a lower price for something that we're going to be talking about here, and that's a pastel het zebra, het DG. Zebra, the hets show, they are easily one of the most visual hets. So much so that people argue that maybe it shouldn't be a recessive, but I'll let people have those arguments. I'm not even in on zebra. I'm on striker though, which is very similar. If some people also say that's the same, but they are kind of the similar type thing too. They definitely show this type of look to it. That there's no doubt in my mind that that's a het zebra, and the zebra itself even is more killer. So zebra gives this like zigzag type zipper looking. Well, it kind of looks like stripes like a zebra or whatever, going down. It's the snake. It's very beautiful to look down upon too. Whereas a lot of snakes have great side pattern. You know, when you're looking down on an animal, which you often are, you usually have to orientate yourself to look at it to see its full pattern. Whereas in zebra, you're really getting the full show no matter what angle you go at. So, and then Desert Ghost, we all know what that does. Really cleans it up. The only other thing I think it would be missing is like a color morph, which, by the way, I found out that morph has apparently been hit. So, I don't know if that's it. There we go. So you can kind of see what zebra does there, and creates these kind of zigzag type look on the top. The Desert Ghost is definitely lightening it quite a bit. I think you can see them right by side because that's a zebra and a Desert Ghost one. So you get something like Ultramel or Monarch, my favorite, in there. Some other morphs, Blackhead, anything like that. I especially think Yellow Belly should be put into that because all the Yellow Belly zebras I have seen have been insane. But yeah, that's the ingredients right there for it. Again, and another female too. So you get your double hets in there. You get a male eventually in year and a half, 2 years. Hopefully prices have come down, even if it's DG het zebra. I doubt you're gonna get obviously what you're going for here. The zebra Desert Ghost, a double visual, so you kind of were to work one of those hets against each other, unfortunately, but it is what it is. And yeah, you could definitely be making something like that. I already got a pastel gene in there as well to kind of lighten it up. Another one that it'll work great with as well. So alrighty. Moving right along to this clown pied het hypo, otherwise known as Ghost. You see that hypo when I got started. In fact, I never called it hypo at first. I called it Ghost. The funny story behind that is then DG exploded in popularity, and DG is called Desert Ghost. So it got a little confusing. So hypo reverted mostly. Most people I hear it call hypo now, but that's if you ever see Ghost, don't get confused. But anyways, after that little tangent, this is a really nice snake. Clown pieds are still absolutely gorgeous. What way to make them better is just to add hypo, just kind of just definitely lighten and brighten the animal up. They're absolutely gorgeous. I don't think I got a picture of that either. I know I have done that in the past too, but I am not prepared. Clown-pied hypo. Good, that's one I didn't have to typo Python on. As you can see right there, it is a really beautiful snake. It kind of turns those blacks into more of a lavendery type color in a way, and really just creates even more insane, crazy contrast in it. But that's one step off, which I just showed you there, from that. So obviously this one here is a little bit low pattern, no doubt. I like them more high pattern, more like this kind of, where it's still got a good amount, maybe 33% white. Those are very nice. So it's just enough to create contrast. The stark whites need to be there for that, really, and it's great how these are peeking up and everything. So, I mean, what could you expect from from them? So, very nice animals there for sure. But yeah, that's kind of what you're going for. Again, another one with hovering that same price range there as all the rest of these that we've been looking at. 8 minutes left on that first one we looked at 300 right now. Definitely got a bit of a war between these two going on. That'll be interesting to watch here. Hopefully I remember and don't miss it like I sometimes do. But we're gonna go ahead and keep moving on in the meantime with this Monarch. Monarch is my favorite. There's a reserve on this though. Monarch is one that it is gonna go for more. I don't know what the reserve will be at, nor do I know if the right amount of people will be on in 14 hours that will go for this, honestly. What's 12 hours from now, or 14 hours from now? That's going to be like 9-ish, right? 9, 10?
9:40.
Interesting time to end it, because a lot of people are at work at that time. So if it can beat the reserve price, it could be gotten for an absolute steal. So I find that like around those times, that 9-ish is a time where people, I mean, they're going to be asleep or they're going to be at work. One of the two is typically true, you know, especially even if you're a night owl. Obviously you'll be asleep. So and if you're up, you're probably at work. So something to consider if you can keep an eye on it. Now when I talk about reserves, I recommend bidding it up to where you want it in a specific way. Although I just found out, well, I didn't just find out, but I know that they just added the auto bids feature. If you're a paid member, I think in any sort of way, you can put an auto bid. So if your top bid is $800, oh, that just jumped in front of us. Was that one of you? Yeah, that definitely just jumped in front of us. What has it got my initials? That wasn't me. You saw it. Anyways, what was I saying? Bid it up just like that in a way, though. So 20 increments of 25 or 50 or something like that until that reserve drops off. So let's just say your top bid was 600. That's all you want. So now you can theoretically type in 600, but although since there's a reserve, I don't know how much that'll help you. You should probably still just manually go in there and type it, like, you know, 25 each time until you get to the 600, or before if the reserve drops off, then you stop there. So that's why I suggest doing that. Don't just bid your top bid, because if it was smaller than that, you're going to feel a little foolish if all of a sudden it just disappears and you'll be like, wait, what if the smallest reserve was less than that? Because when you place a bid here, it just it just puts it right at that. It's like a real auction. Although, like I said, I got to look into it since this thing's a little messed up. I haven't really messed with it yet with the auto bids. But the auto bids theoretically would be just like eBay. You put your top bid in, and it's going to auto bid. Each time someone outbids you, it'll just instantly outbid them. And then, yeah, and then you know, until it reaches your max amount. So a reserve priced animal probably wouldn't be the best one to do that on unless the reserve price brought. Well, there we have it. Reserve price just that's the first time it's ever happened. Reserve price just dropped off right in front of us. Somebody bid it up to $500. There you go. Just like that. Someone's definitely doing this. Come on. So now that you know that this animal will sell, and their reserve, so that reserve was the minimum they'd take is $500, which is pretty darn good. That means that well, it is a different person. These two are going at it, but they got the reserve off now, so there you have it. Very interesting. I never had that happen like just live on an auction or anything like that, so pretty cool. And kind of proves my point. Now, imagine if their top bid was $800 and they were just like, nah, I'm willing to pay $800. They would have overpaid possibly if nobody else bid by $300. So that's my point. This will probably go for more than that. I can't imagine that the other guy will let it go. It seems like they've been getting at it for a little while there. Good luck to both of them. I didn't do it. I wish I could. Well, then we just happen to be lucky and see how that kind of worked and see a reserve drop off and how it works. It just goes away. So, oh. Did we miss it? No, we didn't. 3 minutes left. Okay. I'll have to jump back and forth on that one. So, but Monarch is amazing. I haven't talked enough about Monarch yet. Obviously, I work it quite a bit. We created a bunch of double hets last season, and we are making some visuals this year. There's locks been confirmed many times already. I gotta imagine it's gonna happen, and we could also have some luck on creating Monarch genetic stripes as well. That one will be a little bit harder odds, no doubt. But I'm feeling good about it. I think I'll get one. And then in a couple years, we'll be going for a lot. Pied Monarchs, Clown Monarchs, Puzzle Monarchs. And the reason I mention that is because we started with a male from Tom Harbing. God rest his soul. Great man. If you want to work into a recessive project, and the best way to do it is to start with a male, because that male, if you want to create your own hets and such, and your own combos with dominance and co-dominance and all that sort of stuff, all that great stuff, you need the male to breed into those typically, because he's going to get ready much sooner than a female would, and you can create those hets. Not to say you can't get a female as well, but if you want to start making your own combos, with your own homegrown stuff, male's the way to go. So the opposite of what people sometimes tell you. All right, let's see how much time I blabbed away there. We got a minute left. Okay. I'm sure this is going to get outbid, but I think we're going to stay here unless we see a quick bid, just to see, because this is a good deal. Good breeder with Nixon Reptiles. Talked with them a few times for sure. And your puppy. Yeah, I'll be interested to see if this goes anymore. Kind of tells you what it's been like tonight as well, because it's so crazy. Just any given night, it really just depends on who's on. How many people have already bought. Your market for selling these things really depends. You could have 5 people out there that are very interested, that will blow your auction up to crazy down. And if they're not on, if they're with family or something like that, your auction's gonna go. Auctions are a risk. There's no wonder people start with reserves or high starting prices, which is what I prefer to do, is high starting prices if I want to reserve it. But from what I've seen earlier, I think it's gonna be a favorable buyer night. Just to let you know, if any of you have some money burning a hole in your pocket. Car, I want a Monarch and or Sunset, but I'm messing with 5 recesses and I feel like I get overwhelmed. It's just small. Yeah, there is that. Sometimes you get a refine. Trust me, I get it. I wouldn't say I'm like a small scale, but I'm definitely not as big as some people might think I am, in terms of the actual breeding process. Yeah, looks at this thing's gonna... Oh, it went up. Maybe that's just lag. It went up like 5 seconds. That's weird. Probably just lagging. Let's go ahead and refresh just to make sure. Yep, $300. Y'all saw it. That's a good deal to have the chance to make. Wrong one. That one. That's a steal. That's a steal. It's a good night. I'm telling you right now, people are sleeping, or they're out with their friends, or they're working late, or they're just not paying attention because they're burned out. It's a good night to look, and I already mentioned at this get-go that there's a good amount of stuff up there. Now, some of it, of course, goes in tomorrow. Maybe people won't be, they'll be paying a little more attention. All right. Let's go ahead and move on, though. But yeah, just to... Car, I get what you're saying, though, because I want to work Sunset into Monarch, actually. But I don't want to buy into Sunset. I'd rather work with someone with Sunset. And then we can kind of split clutch. So they have a Sunset, or something like that. I got a male, so I'd probably lend them my male at some point. which would have to be local for me personally, which, guess what? I know some people with Sunset locally. So at some point, I definitely would like to do that and create the hets, and then we both have kind of the same chance to create that. Now, in the meantime, I know people are going to make it. That's okay. I don't need to be first. I know it's going to be amazing because it's all the Ultramel again. It's great kind of being in a Monarch, because obviously I prefer Monarch to Ultramel, but I don't hate Ultramel. I love Ultramel. But there's Ultramel's work more, so I get to see a lot of these combos with Ultramel, and it's kind of like a testing ground in a way for me to see if I think that I'd like it with Monarch. So in a way, it's kind of great. Speaking of Monarch and keeping on it, by the way, if you wanted to get into it cheaper, there you go. Pastel Yellow Belly Het Monarch. These are great jeans. Pastel Monarchs go. They are another one where Pastel just works with it, and it works with it good. I always like to think, the reason why I like Monarch so much is not only is it a great, beautiful color, it kind of brings in these burgundies, these purples in a way. It's about this close to a deeper purple that you can get. And that's in the off pattern, or pointing at the snake, like in this, like went on an actual Monarch here. Like this sort of stuff. This color is where it's at for me. The pastel kind of brings that and lightens it up though, and I always thought that Monarch has like a microdose of Desert Ghost in it. It really cleans it up and brightens the animal. So it does that with pastel as well, so it works great with both of these jeans. Obviously being het male is not ideal, but you already saw, I mean, it went up another 50 cents since I've been blabbing here. Or 50 cents, $50. But I mean, this one's going to go for a good amount, and it's from one of the top tier breeders of Monarchs in MSB Reptiles. We actually got a little het girl over there from them earlier this year or late last year. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's a good way to go about it if you don't have a bunch of money and you want to do it. I mean, you're going head to head. If you go head to head on Monarch, I mean, you get 1 in 4 chances. Not bad. If you just want to hit if you're just going one head to head, that is. So just to consider that. Now, if you go multi, like het Monarch and het Clown versus each other, your odds of hitting the double visual exponentially go down. So yeah. If that het was a female, I'd be super tempted. Like I just mentioned, they put a het female up here. I think they only had 2 animals up this week, unless I missed one. But they have done that, and I would imagine they will do it again. So keep an eye out. And there's a way you can search these, by the way. You just set it for other options. Auction, you see it right there. Set it for bull pythons, genetics and traits. Any trait form. Monarch. Boom. There you go. There's a het Monarch, actually. And it's, it's 50%. From a good breeder, though. And furrow is an interesting gene, so you roll the dice on it. Proven breeder? It says PB. Yeah. Hey, there you go. Maybe ask them, email them or something like that, and just say, hey, did you attempt for the Monarch already? Just to see if they did a different pairing and they didn't get any, then there you go. Yeah, just a thought process. On any given day, you can quickly filter it to get to where you want to see if you can get what you want. So, all right, moving right along. Good amount of sunsets today too. I've seen more sunsets come up. We are just talking about them. This male here has a little under a day left, and he's at 480. Sunset prices have come down, but they are still up there. I think the cheapest I've seen them go is 800 at Tinley. Every so often there's just one. I feel like it's like a show special or something, because other ones are not that cheap. From Captive Bred Specialties, another good one in Sunset here. If you want to do something like that, if you want to get in a Sunset, this one has a good amount of size to it already. It could be ready. I mean, it's not ready right now, I would imagine. My opinion, anyways. Technically, it might be. But usually I like to get them to about 700 grams. But it's much closer. It's got a lot of that feeding out of the way for you. So Let's see here. Another one here from Petrogenetics is an Enchi Sunset. Got a little bit more time on it. That's why it's cheaper, I'm sure. But Petrogenetics, definitely no slouch. I love them. Great, beautiful animals they create, and just really good people. Honestly, I have personal experience with them, dealing with them, and they're good. So guarantee you anything they put up is quality, and they themselves are quality people. So another great one you could get into, another male here. So if you, like I said earlier with the Monarch, if you want to start working it into projects, it's a good way to go. Oh, I thought I had another sunset. I do. Why is it over here? I put this break in the wrong spot. There we go. We'll do that. And then we'll talk about the hogs. Still in the sunsets, but a little bit different here. This pastel yellow belly clown, 100% het sunset, from Aura Reptiles, another great breeder. This one could go for a little bit cheaper. It's got less time on it, as you can see here too. And some people might just see like, oh, well, it's visual clown but not sunset, and move on from that. You know, if you do obviously get a visual sunset female that's het clown, that's the most ideal way to do it, but you know, that's going to be more money. So if you want to go head to head, again, the clown portion of it's covered, so you're only taking the big risk on the sunset and being in 1 in 4 chance, whereas the clown will be every other that you'll get, and you'll know that every single one that you don't get it on is a het, because that's just how that works if you get a visual clown. So this is a good way to, on a budget, go for a sunset clown, though. And that is a sunset clown. It's absolutely amazing. As you can see, there's so much to love about this. There's so much beauty. It's light and dark, and it fades just like a sunset. The pattern there is good enough. I wish it wasn't this out of focus over here, but you can kind of see it. You can see it, and it kind of fades up here too. It's very much lives that name of sunset. And I love the sunset clowns because they really lighten them up for whatever reason. You can see kind of the difference between a sunset and then the sunset clown. This one's pretty nice though, regardless. But you know, you get this nice blushing on the bottom there too, kind of coming up. One almost looks like a spade right there. Really beautiful animal. You can even see it kind of coming up down here near the jawline. I love when they do that. I love when they creep up near the eye and over the top lip. It's like a white lip python. It's very nice. Really great example of what you can do and how you should look if you are on a budget. How you should be looking at making your plans if you're on a budget, or even if you're on everybody's on a budget. Your budget might be lower, sometimes it's ridiculously high, some of us are in the middle, but you should always be careful and smart when you're doing this sort of stuff and trying to do it for the best effective cost, and this is a good way to do it. Work the heads against each other if you can, and if not, then you just do double het female and maybe get some other cool stuff in there, like maybe spot nose. That would be really, really great. Yellow belly spot nose. Clown sunset. That'd be really, really beautiful. So just some stuff to think about there on how you should be looking at all of your projects when you are trying to build a team for whatever budget you're on. All right. Like I was saying before, we're going to go ahead and talk about the Hognoses here in a second. I'm going to jump into the comments here, Brian. And our Mandarin is going to be big in the next year, I believe. I actually have one. I can't believe I got it. I got it in a not one of these auctions, in a live auction, like in person. And someone had actually technically won it and abandoned it. Their loss, my gain. So they kind of did a mini auction and I got it. And we're pairing it this year with technically, I mean, it is Bell. Speaking of bells, I'm getting news on that, but it's a lesser butter hypo, and it's a visual hypo. You might think like, well, how do you know? Well, I was told that, and then I also sent it in for a shed test, and it proved as homozygous. for hypo. So it is a visual, not visual, hypo. So all the babies will be head hypo, and so I want to do that, the Mandarin route. So everything will be hypo or head hypo, unless he somehow proves that it's hypo. That'd be great, or head hypo. And then they'll either be lesser or butter. But on that, I am going to probably send her back in for a shed test on the Bell complex, because we recently just learned, I think it was this week, maybe it was last week, I don't know, time just seems to be going by, that now lesser and butter are not the same, and that there might be another form of it out there. Crazy. I mean, we were told that now it was the same, and then, but now it might not be. I love that we're having so many questions answered with genetic testing, with and if you haven't watched that video with RGI, I highly recommend you do it. It's not terribly long, and Bob Vu is on there from Bob's Balls, and they talk about this whole thing. So yeah, I can't wait for that with the Mandarin as well. That'll be really exciting. I never expected to do this. Never. It literally just plopped in my lap. Well, not literally, but yeah, you get it, figuratively. Anyways, about the hogs. There's not a lot this week. There's never is, but this is even low for that. There's one cool one I wanted to mention, even though they're all pretty cool. I love the snows as well, but albino is my favorite. I love albino. And here's a toffee belly. We actually have toffee belly here as well. But here's a toffee belly albino, which is known as a toffee glow. It's also conda, which brings in a little bit of these spots, kind of changes the pattern up. If you get a super conda, by the way, it eliminates all the pattern, keeps the color, except for on the head. Very interesting. It's also 100% or 50% head for Xanthic, which is how you get this snow, by the way. It's a just said it, albino and Xanthic. Another reason why I really love this picture is because it shows the hognose doing some hognose things. I love that some of these breeders, they'll show the goofiness. You can see how it flattens its head, so they mimic, a cobra, even though they're the derpiest animals in the world. We'll share at some point. I was trying to feed one, and it grabbed its shed. It had just shed, so I had opened it up and didn't know it shed, and it decided to just grab its shed. Oh, hey. Did it take them? I'm surprised they didn't bark. It started to eat its shed. And not that would have killed it, but yeah. They're derpy as heck. They are the derpiest animals out there. I love them, though. But they're as goofy as they look. They're goofy shovel nose. So, but yeah, I wanted to show this one off just because I like the way it looked as well. So, the super form is incredible. Oh, the Mandarin, yes, and that's what we're hoping for, is to get two of them, obviously a male and a female, so that we can roll the dice and get the super Mandarin hypos. So, and then either have lesser or butter in there. Hope so. Look, again, I hope I don't hit with both of those combos. I would like it in one of them. That would be cool. But not in both, because I don't want to get a white snake that's also a super Mandarin hypo. That'd be depressing. I already have a hypo that you can't see. So, alright, moving right along back into the ball pythons with this acid spot nose, fire yellow belly, head clown female. Good opportunity here for somebody that wants to get into the acid project. Acid is incredibly similar to confusion. It is not the same, though. It is a different genetic. They might be in the same family. I don't know. But they do very similar things, almost identical things. And what they do is amazing. You can kind of see here, this is not a clown. This is a het clown, and yet it's still the acid and the spot nose are teaming up to create this awesome head stamp. Just wild, not of this world. Their bellies on acids and confusions are usually like a Hognoses, ironically. They're very, very colorful, but the pastel, you can see here, it did its... they can clean it up a bit, which it did. There might be something there. But they're really nice. What they do to the heads and everything like that, especially when you get into clown. We have one here. I love the little dots down the head. They're so darn gorgeous. Good amount of interest in this, and it doesn't surprise me, especially with spot nose and yellow belly, and all that being in there. I guess that shouldn't surprise me, but it will go cheaper than the visual version, which probably wouldn't be up here at all if it was, because they'd be keeping it. And it's a female, so a male. That's visual. And heck, why don't you get something that, man, that'd be cool. You're only a couple off with red stripe and black pastel. Create an acid Pompeii. That's an interesting thing to think of. So very, very awesome animal. Like I said, there's so much stuff this week. It's just incredible. I had it all along. I talked about the pastel puzzle earlier. I should have moved this forward. Oh well. But yeah, you can see here again, from what I was talking about earlier, what it does to the head and everything like that. I literally had it right here. That's crazy. Yeah, if we're going back into the puzzle kind of route here, this is a really nice one. Let's see if that miss it. We already know that one's ending or ended. This one's gonna end soon. It definitely has gone up. All right, go back into the puzzle here. Talk about it. Puzzle, like I said, especially with pastel, I mean, it's very, very nice. I love what it does to the pattern. Again, another one that it kind of spreads that wildness all around, and usually kind of goes down the dorsal. Ironically, this is one that I see a lot more side pattern on. Ironically, it's usually I see it move up a little bit to the sides, where the whites kind of maybe creep up a bit, and it's more squished onto the top of the snake. But still wild on what it does. Puzzle is kind of a clean chaos in my opinion. It definitely just blows the pattern up into these crazy, just higher. I mean, this one looks like a camel. I don't know why I saw that. I saw camel almost immediately. See, it's a double-sided camel. I don't know why I see things like that. I got problems, I guess. But it is a very cool animal, and just what it does to the pattern and whatnot. Wild. Now, the head clown you might be wondering about has been made, and believe it or not, they kind of look like a clown. So the puzzle clowns. Now, there's still a lot of questions to be answered, because what is it going to look like with a few other things in there? You get yellow belly in there, something that might change everything. But just something to think about. Ironically, that will probably, for some people, bring that price down. They might be a little worried to move into that. So puzzles in general are very nice. Another one that's pretty well started. So something to consider here if you wanted to get into that puzzle again. All right, now here's one that I really love, and if I was logged in, I was gonna bid on it right now, right here. So I'll bid on it later. Is a Sumapide. Another one up here. There was one here last week. I think it might have had a reserve price, but this one does not. It's got 2 days left roughly, and it's pretty low, and the interest right now is only 8 bids. It will climb, but this is a really good deal, and I love the Sumapides. They're my favorite ones because they believe it or not, this is actually kind of obviously it's a low pattern, but they often will still have a lot more pattern on them. This is just random. Whereas people, when you get the Pandapides, which is the super black pastel, they're very, very high white. And sometimes, believe it or not, they can actually be all white. That kind of sucks. But what else I love about them is you do have these pitch blacks right there. Get there. Here we go. The head is always very dark, usually. But then look here. It kind of just morphs. It's almost like it's like paradoxed. Right? Because it's got like, oh, look, I'm brown, no, I'm black, and then it's brown, and then here you got a little bit of, it's like stained wood that wasn't applied properly. I love the randomness to it, and that's why I like them to be more patterned, because this randomness appears even more and more and more. Regardless, it is a beautiful animal. The Sumapide, by the way, is a super mahogany visual pied. So, very, very cool animal. I absolutely love them. All right, another one with clown here is this yellow belly pastel Leopard Hurricane Clown. Hurricane Clowns are awesome. This one is really low priced right now. The pastel is gonna, in my opinion, this is one where I'd rather pastel not be in this, even though I spend a lot of time showing where you can use it. In this particular combo, it's kind of eliminating what I think Hurricane can do, but the potential is there. You can see it. It's really gorgeous, especially with the leopard in there. You can Hurricane Clowns kind of actually usually have an eye stripe. They bring it back in there, but it's usually thick and wavy. So very interesting animal. One that's really low in price, and I think that's because people are not going to be able to get past that pastel, because some people just look with their eyes and they don't see the deeper picture of it. And I see Hurricane, Leopard, and Yellow Belly in a visual clown that's a female. And who cares about the pastel? It still is a nice animal. I just would prefer it without it personally. And I think that there's so much you could do with it. Some people will see that. It especially happens with Spider. If this had Spider in it, it would be ridiculously low, just because Spider just drives people away in many cases. So certain genes or certain looks, some people might not be able to see past it. I recommend that you do. I recommend that you look a little bit closer at what you can do in 3 years from now, when this animal is up to size and she is breeding, and what you'll be able to create from that. So look ahead in the future when you're looking at the animals you're looking at, not just with what's in front of your face. That's my recommendation to you for today. And sticking with clown, another one here where you're just one gene off of the Pompeii at this point is a spot nose, red stripe, yellow belly. You're missing black pastel, and you would have a Pompeii. And it's amazing how those genes work together, how much of a different look that you can get. This is crazy. The head stamp might be one of the most nutty looking things. It literally looks like a spider, or like, I don't know. Yeah, it looks like a spider. On its head, like a black widow or something like that. It's just absolutely wild. And you can kind of see where that look of the Pompeii starts to begin. It's just not quite as refined and dark, I'd say. Wild. I mean, you see the sides of it there, just granulated all to heck. Just another one that I think this will get a decent amount of interest here as it goes along, but right now there's only 3 people paying any attention. So you want to get into Pompeii, you're one gene off right here, and it's black pastel. So you get a black pastel male, and you're rolling the dice. Now, obviously, odds are what they are, but you've got the ingredients now, so you're in the game. And the good thing about that project is, no matter what you get when you make a pairing like that, is you are getting amazing things. I mean, you can see this is an amazing animal, and it's not even. I mean, it could be very well something that they I didn't see the pairing there that they were trying to get a Pompeii on, but it is really, really beautiful. So, all right, and then for our last one, be a redhead clown from Hulker's Herps. This one just went up as we started. It's already got a few bids. I think, yeah, it was when we first started. It might have literally been at 0. There will be some interest in this, no doubt, and Redhead Clown deserves it. Redhead is an incredibly subtle gene. By itself, you do see a little bit of that orangey, rusty red to the head. But when it's put into something as simple as clown, you get an incredible amount of granulation and blown up pattern. Not at all what it does by itself. It's wild, so when you start getting other granulation genes in there, this reddish type look really just starts to pop. Very, very amazing animal. I believe Canova had created one here that we're going to look at. Where the heck is it? There we go. And we got an ad. What do we got? An ad. What do you an ad blocker? Oh, I didn't say that. Like I said, here's another one. You can just see this rusty rip to it. It's like it's rusted out and it's being ripped apart. The chaos and is just so insane here. But it still tells a story. It's enough controlled along its back there. It's just so gorgeous. And just to think, that's a redhead clown. That's one thing. That's one thing. And these will go up. This will go up in price. And if it doesn't, you should be in on it. There's no doubt. This would be a really great male to start working redhead into your collection for the clown projects, which is where it is at home at, for sure. I'm sure there's a lot of other great applications for redhead, but it is a proven commodity in clown, and there's so much more we can do with it. So, alrighty. I think that's it for the day. I think we missed the second one. Or did we? No, it's still going at it, so I'll just leave it sitting there. It's nearly doubled since I last came over here, so it kind of shows you what people are paying attention to. You know, that het zebra, het desert ghost being put together. There's definitely enough people paying attention that are kind of going back and forth here. Looks like he bid against himself. If anybody's got any questions here before we log off for the night, let us know. I'll probably kind of let it go here for another like 5 minutes, if not. Yeah. So I don't know. We might do a. I don't know if we'll do another live next week. We have a show next week, and usually we like to do the lives before the show, but I don't know if that's going to work out. But we might do back to back. It depends on how it works out, I suppose. So, other than that, what is the video for this Sunday? I can't remember. What is it?
I always forget when you ask the question.
You're working on it literally right now, because we're not ahead in filming right now. Oh, questions you should ask when you get into ball pythons, or when breeding ball pythons. Not really answering those questions, maybe a little bit, because I like to ramble. But, yeah. So if you want to breed ball pythons, these are the questions you should be asking. So tune in this Sunday for that. What has longer legs? Monarch or Sunset? I'm assuming you mean, I don't know if you're joking or if you just mean it's obviously they're snakes, or if you mean like which one has the more potential. I'm gonna take it as the potential one and just answer it that way. It's tough to say. I'd say Sunset is more. You know, I'm a Monarch guy. But I'd say there's pros and cons to both. Monarch is definitely more expensive right now. At some point, there's like when the ball drops, right? You know, the price starts coming down as they become more available. These snakes, and once it becomes more affordable for a certain group of people, wildfire, absolute wildfire. Monarch are starting to reach that. I'm seeing the same thing as Sunset. Sunset, I believe, has reached that, where Sunset is now a little bit more available and a little bit more affordable to get into. Still expensive, I think, by many people's standards, but yeah. There is it's tough to say because they're both kind of there's still so much to do. Let's just put it that way. There's still so much to do. I plan to kind of put them both together, quite frankly. So, with how much there is in ball pythons and how many genetics there is to work and how many different ways you can do it, it's an incredible thing. Like I said, I'm a little biased on it. I think they're both great. I think Sunset is definitely more worked right now because it has come down in price. But it was just as big as Monarch there when they hadn't. But they Sunset typically needs to be worked. I wouldn't say lighter, but it definitely helps to have it in a lighter thing. Whereas Monarch can be worked light or dark. That's my bias speaking, probably, if you're talking about which one. But I like them both. Clearly, obviously, I like Monarch a little bit better though. But I think Sunset has already more than well proven itself. As a top tier gene. All right, I don't know if that was even your question, but I appreciate the way it was asked because it made me laugh. Sarah, thank you both for the rundown. Thank you for being here. Always appreciate it. There's a Mandarin male on the auction. You know, I think I saw it. I don't know why I didn't include it. Didn't it? couple of them. Standard and then a possible Mandarin, I guess. Sometimes Mandarin can be a little more difficult to see, believe it or not. It's pretty subtle, honestly. But yeah, it's a pretty nice color. This one's pretty obvious in my opinion, so I like that explanation. Like I figured I understood what you meant, but it was a funny way to put it. I appreciate the punniness of it when we're talking about snakes having legs. But yeah, I'm glad you appreciate the explanation. But all right, I think we're gonna call it there. Like I said, check out our video on Sunday. Is there anything else we got going on right now that's off the wall that we got the show next week? If you're in Northwest Indiana, in Valparaiso.
Also a Crown Point show somewhere.
Crown Point shows in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
Those are nice and fun too. That's a 1 day show though. Usually it's 2 days on just that Saturday. Was it the 7th?
I don't remember.
June 7th. The other one's Memorial Day weekend in Valparaiso. If you are in the town, come see us. We got new banners and everything. I am so proud of them. That's going to be in a video, isn't it? Did I talk about that recently? Yeah, it's going to be in the new one because I mentioned it. Yeah. You got to get footage of it.
I already have a photo.
Whatever. Yeah, we got a whole, like a really nice pro banner. Like not just like a banner, but like a full backdrop. From Fabric Sign, guys. I'm so pumped. And then tablecloths. Yeah, I'm so happy with it. So I love marketing, so I'm a dork. Anyways, yeah, check out our video on Sunday about what questions you should ask before you start breeding ball pythons. And then, like I said, we're still kind of up in the air whether we should what we're gonna do for the auction next week, whether it's gonna be another live or if it'll be a recorded that goes up on Friday. Sorry, you're doing something. What are you doing? Oh, you did that. Why did you do that? Yeah, you can't see that. That makes it look.
Yeah, you can.
All right, fine. It's way better when it's not like two p whatever the hell. Not, yeah. Yeah. I need to come up with a name still. Our first video, if you go back and watch it, it's me dissecting a slug. And you could still tell right there, I was still in the mindset of using this as a just marketing, rather than just kind of more than that. You can literally tell, I don't even smile, I don't think. Maybe I do. But I was literally mauling in the video what the name of it would be. And I kind of said, like, I think we're going to settle on Reynolds Royals. Let us know. So, yeah, no, it's not easy. I literally had so many names written out, and then you gotta check them. Does anybody else have it? And it's just like, yeah. With mine, I mean, I was kind of settling on something with Royals, and you know, my name is Ryan. And growing up, and when I played baseball, everybody called me Rhyno because of I'm a big Cubs fan, and Ryan Sandberg, they called him Rhyno. You don't expect you all to know that, but yeah, Cubs fan. Anyways, yeah, so it kind of came with that. I was just like, hey, they match. Rhinos Royals, it kind of just rolls off the tongue. I literally go by it from some people anyway, so let's do it. So kind of have something that's catchy, I guess. And you know, when you get it, you'll get it. Don't settle for anything. Don't settle for anything when it comes to marketing at all. Otherwise, because you gotta live with it forever. And if you don't like it and you made signs, that's money. And time you've invested in building that name too. So yeah,
stay tuned for our marketing video anytime in the next 3 years.
Whatever. I wanted to make it good, so I'm taking my time. Yeah, watch us rebrand Rhinos Reptiles. We actually talked about that at some point. if we ever got really big into other reptiles. So anyways, yeah, hope you all have a great night. If you're in the Midwest, hunker down. We're getting a tornado or something like that in like 2 hours. Hey, have a good night, everybody. Stay safe. Oh man, I totally made mine up, and it won a raffle out of a few other names in a hat. That's another way to go about it too. There you go. You don't think about it too much, and you're just like, cool, let's go with it. I remember at one point everybody making the balls things because ball pythons. So yeah. But anyways, hope you all have a great night, and we'll catch you in the next one.